Welcome to the WineDown, an afternoon podcast where two techie blokes sit down over a bowl of wine and chat about what's happening in the world of tech. Enjoy while Scott and Nick open up about their week in technology.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, hello and welcome to the WineDown. I'm Nick and this is
Scott,
Scott. Where are we? What are we drinking?
we're at the Greenwood.
We are at the Greenwood in North Sydney, absolutely
Yes.
right.
How about that? And I tell you what, we got this lovely bottle of Howard Park. It's 2018. It's a Margaret River. It's red.
It's red?
which is
It's
good.
red.
Which is generally good for a Cab Sav. And yes, it's it's young. Well, actually, 2018 isn't so young anymore, but it's got a nice little drop to it, and yeah. I'll be quite happy with that, I think.
Very nice. We're back in person, by the way.
We are.
It's
It's something different.
Yes, the restrictions kind of do this, and right now they're doing a little bit of this, so we're in a pub.
While no one's looking, let's get to a pub and
Absolutely. Do we need to wear a mask while winding down? No, we're consuming.
No, we're
okay.
consuming. Actually, I had a mate ask about that the other day. He said he had to go to a function and said, at this function, you must wear a mask when you're not drinking. He said, oh, no need for a mask then.
Yeah, good point. Good point.
Okay.
All right, cool. So today, National Innovation Day.
National Innovation Day. How cool is that?
Yeah, it's funky cool. I've won innovation awards. I spent my entire life
yes.
innovating.
You know what else, though?
Go on.
It's also National Tim Tam Day.
Yummy chocolate squishy goodness. Awesome.
Exactly. And if you look a bit deeper, it's National Go Help a Grumpy Person Day.
Where are they?
Well, I don't know. But in the little shot, there was this wonderful shot of this little grumpy 3-year-old kid going, "Arr!" And it was quite cool.
Look at
But
us
anyway,
in a pub. Innovation Day, Help a Grumpy Person Day, and all that other stuff. So today we're talking about innovation, surprisingly enough. Scott, really, yeah, your business helps organisations deal with their IT, right? You're
Yes.
running routers and switches and PCs and
yeah.
networks.
But-
Where's the innovation there?
But honestly, that's the sort of foundation these days. I mean, when you look at things like, we need to get like a managed services provider, an IT provider to come in and help. It's no longer about, hey, I need my PC fixed, or I want my backups working properly, or whatever. That's the dime a dozen stuff these days. That stuff should be table stakes.
Yep.
If you haven't got that working, you shouldn't be in the game. That is processed, it's standardised, there should be a lot of... That has been innovated to death over the last 20 years.
Talking of backups, I was at my dentist the other day.
Yes.
And he went, do you floss? I went, do you back up all your files? He went, oh, we won't keep talking then.
No, don't ask the medical industry if they back up their data. It's not a great experience from what I've found.
Anyway, so
anyway,
ticket to the game.
that's just it.
Elevate us up. Let's go up the stack and
this
talk
is
about
it.
where we can innovate.
Having all the IT in place and working, and all the basic firewall, Wi-Fi, switching, networking, backup, all that says the business is now working and using IT the way most businesses are.
Right.
In a functional method. However, that's not where it stops. That's the starting point. That allows you to take the next step up and say, now let's try to do some smarts with this. We've got all the ticks in the boxes down there with all the basics in place. Why don't we go to the next layer?
Okay, so let's talk about some of those layers. I'll
Okay.
pick some. Why don't I pick 4 at random that we wrote down earlier?
Strangely enough, we actually have a framework that has 4 items in it.
You wrote that down earlier. You do. So let's start at one of the areas that people think about when I think about a business and I think about this core plumbing, the next thing I think about is customers
Yes.
and the customer experience.
Oh, yes.
But surely all you do is put an ad in Yellow Pages, right? Where's the customer
Well,
experience there?
in some degree, those yellow pages still exist and people are still putting ads in them, which is, look, perhaps a bit disappointing, depends on your industry, I suppose. But if you look at your customer experience or your client experience, there's 3 main areas we look at there. One's the marketing. What's the message you as a business is sending to the market? Mm-hmm. We then look at the sales element. If a customer reads that message and wants to buy something, what's their experience like when they actually engage with you as an organisation and they want to buy something? And the third part of it is, once they've actually bought it, and let's say there's a problem or they've got a question, what's your support channel like? Now, we look at those three areas in particular with organisations and look at how can we make them more efficient or improve the experience with technology. Now, it doesn't mean that we're going to go and say, hey, we wrote this bit of software that does sales management and you should use that. It's no, there's a lot of applications out there that do that. A lot of SaaS apps, a lot of other apps, a lot of ways of doing it. The thing is, are you using a modern approach to do this? Have you innovated your processes in these areas such that the client experience is actually one that's really, wow, that was efficient and positive. And look, I went click, 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 something came online, I had an issue, I went tap, 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 someone answered me straight away. This is a great place, I'm going to buy more off them.
Yeah, but you talk about not writing code. We certainly have a couple of customers
Oh,
where
yes.
we're writing the CX front end for them.
Absolutely, and that's when you start to look at specialised business models and also businesses where they're looking at that and going, we can gain efficiencies in our market by innovating in that area. Everybody else may be using a standardised application for that, and therefore they're tied to that application's process. We want to move outside of that process, and we think we'll save so many people or so much time and effort in doing something a different way.
And I think if you think about that, and I won't use customer names, but there's a million shop fronts out there. There's Shopify, there's BigCommerce, there's all of those things, which are really good if you're shipping physical product.
There is.
But we've got a customer who hires out equipment. Right?
Oh, yes.
And so there's no real off-the-shelf product to do that. Well, there's some, but they're crazy expensive. So they took the opportunity to build their own, which gives them a distinct advantage over the competitors.
It does, and you've got full control over how you display yourself to the market and how you move forward. But I guess if I went into an organisation that just had basic IT in place, and we said, how do you track your sales? And I said, well, we've got this whiteboard, and we've got this spreadsheet. And you go, oh, okay. What happens when a client rings up and asks for something? Oh, someone goes and finds their file or looks up a bit of paper or a paper invoice somewhere. You go, okay. So what happens if they want to know at 3 a.m. what happened? Do you have a portal they can go into? Do you have some sort of account tracking, or do you?
No, they phone an account manager.
That's right. And these are the basic sorts of things we sort of look at there and go, well, what are your plans in that direction? How do we help?
So you need your core infrastructure, then you can start doing the cool CX things. Now I noticed you've just started using really modern marketing tools. You're using HubSpot now.
We've moved into HubSpot. We actually did an investment in HubSpot ourselves. We'd been doing a lot of things manually from the marketing front, and look, some worked, some didn't. We were always trying different things. We were innovating, but now we've sort of gone to that next level and say, look, even for HubSpot, a lot of those basic marketing functions and web functions, you just have to be able to do them these days. They're not things like, oh, we got one of those working, yay, we're going to be ahead of the rest. No, that means we've partly caught up with where everybody else is.
Yep.
And that's the thing. But
cool. Yes. So let's move down to I'm thinking of the model now, I'm moving down to the bottom left. Let's talk about operations.
Operationally.
In most businesses, you can save money by streamlining your operations.
Absolutely. And
what does that mean?
Well, here's the thing. Okay, let's say you've done your marketing and someone's actually used the sales channel you got and bought something, and you went, oh, I now need to build or provide that service. Now, whether it's a physical service like you make widgets, or whether it's a professional service where you're doing legal or accounting work or something like that, it doesn't matter. How are you doing that? How are you tracking that work? Are you efficient? If you bill on time, how are you recording your time? And is your invoicing automated out of that?
Yep.
If you're physically building things, what do your processes look like? How many of your processes have you automated, or have you got computerized such that you haven't got people spending a lot of time doing things manually?
And this is where the term workflow gets thrown around
Exactly.
a lot. And people's workflows are different. If you're in the graphic design industry, you have a graphical workflow, right?
Yes.
You build things and you process them. You do stuff graphical people do. We're building tools now which do electronic workflow.
That's right.
Automating manual business processes, right? That's a key focus area for us.
It is, and I sort of look at this in two ways. In one way, there's a lot of tools around today that apply to specific business models. And so if you're in manufacturing, you're in accounting, and you're in whatever, it doesn't really matter whatever it is, but there's, here is a manufacturing process tool. Here is an accounting practice management product. And they have within them defined, I'll call them best practice, but maybe it's not best practice, but it is a fairly well-defined practice that works every time.
Is probably closer, yeah.
And then you say, well, as a start, can you use that? But you've got to look at the other side as well and says, if you've been doing this for a while, perhaps your really efficient process is actually better than that, in which case, how do you then create your own or automate your own process to say, that is our smarts, that's why we are successful out in the market, because our process is better than everybody else. which means you're not likely to find an off-the-shelf version of it or a SaaS app that does it. But you can find tools that allow you to put that process into the app and build the workflows to automate it.
Yep. And we're certainly working on a big project like that.
Oh, yes.
At the moment.
And you can see the benefits that will very quickly come out of it.
Oh, yeah.
It's quite amazing.
Yeah, no, it's very cool stuff. So that's operations. What's the next area if I go top right?
We look at data.
Data.
Organisations have got enormous amounts of data, and most of them just don't know what to do with it.
Yep.
Aside from, do we back it up? Yes. Or where is it? It's in an app. How much data have we got? Do we even know? I don't know. But you've got history in there. If you've got 5+ years of history, even 3+ years of history, start to feed that data into an AI engine, and it'll start to tell you what the future looks like.
Yeah, so we did one for a manufacturing company where we were able to predict sales of certain products and predict when they would happen based on historical data, and that's using artificial intelligence and machine learning. But even simpler than that, at a high school, we've built a dashboard which will show all of the aspects of a student's school life pulled from multiple different systems all in one place, and that released this year, and there's some good feedback on that.
Well, there is, and this is, we've spoken a bit about data before. It's not so much about having all your data in one place, but you need to be able to access your data where it is and be able to cross-reference it so you're looking at the same amount of data.
I've always said it's turning data into information.
Exactly.
That you can make decisions on, right?
Data is useless by itself. You've really got to have the smarts and the thought processes saying, that number is 3, it should be 5. We've got to work harder there. That's a problem.
So a lot of people, when they think data, though, will think things like Power BI and dashboarding. Yeah. But for one of our customers, we've actually built a whole web application that they now use internally, which accesses their data in a new way.
That's right. Previously, their old application was a little clunky or hard to use for some people, and they wouldn't naturally access some of the reports the way they wanted to. Yet putting this into a modern website front end that says, hey, the back end's still there, and over time that may change, but at least here is all your data. Now how do we show it? Do we want to put it into Power BI and produce some nice little graphs? Do we want to leave it on a website so you can go click, click, click and see what's happening?
Yeah.
Make it available on a mobile phone so everybody who's running around remotely can go tap, 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 and I can see everything now. I couldn't do this before.
Yeah.
Visibility, it's great.
Yeah, no, that's really cool. That's a cool innovation, and that's where we've tied together, and what's interesting about that is we've tied together some rapid application development techniques with some really modern architecture.
It's great.
Oh, cool. And super. There we go. Innovation.
Innovation, which I guess leads us to the fourth area, which is good. which is when we get right down into that lovely bottom corner, we're looking at collaboration.
Collaboration.
How do we get the business working together and
the business and customers working together and everybody talking?
And in one respect, the last couple of years has really given this a bit of a kick as well about if everybody's remote from each other, how do they talk? And it's not, I ring this person on a mobile phone twice a day to find out what's going on. No, I need to have my data somewhere that I can track what's going on in the business. Doesn't matter where I am. And if you've got 50 staff and they're all remote, how do they all communicate? This is where we look at things like Teams, for example. Put their individual groups into or departments into a team and communicate information to everybody within the team, having those chats available.
But it's also where we kind of add things like our document management tool with Hub One.
Yes.
Being able to make sure the documents are always in the right place.
Exactly.
Accessible and found.
Yeah. Everybody from a front end of a computer can actually go in there and go tap, tap, tap. I've got access to the data I need. When I get stuck, I can type a little message to someone, or I've got everybody visually there. I know I can go and communicate via, say, a Teams meeting, for example. Yep. And when I need help, and someone can show me, even just looking at my screen, what am I doing here? Use this.
And look, we released a meeting management app this morning as well,
yes.
So we have that too.
That's very cool, actually, that app. I like that.
Yeah, no, that was fun launching. It's launched in beta, but that's in market now.
Well, you do.
Yeah, it's quite nice. So we really started our development journey about a year ago.
Yes.
And now we're seeing products start to release, and that's a great feeling.
And it's the whole thing around efficiency and innovation.
Absolutely.
Wow.
That's cool, Scott. There's lots of exciting things happening there. I'd love to do some WineDowns where we actually unpack those a little bit more.
Absolutely. That sounds like a good idea.
I think it is, but that gives us a really nice taster. I think that's enough today. Thank you so much for watching, listening, or whatever it is you do with these podcasts. Make sure you give us a like and subscribe. Leave a comment if you'd like us to discuss a topic. And I think we'll get back to this wine.
Exactly. And just as a thought for during the week, what have you innovated recently?
That's a good question. I know the list. Thanks, Scott.
Thanks, Nick.
Thanks, heaps.
See you later.
Bye-bye.
Bye.